Namaste. I am Joy Dhyanam. In this video, I will talk about the sutra that Patanjali gave just before the 8 limbs of yoga. This sutra is very important for the practice of 8 limbs of yoga. This sutra is from the Sadhana Pada, chapter 2nd, and the sutra number is 28. From 29 onwards, 8 limbs of yoga starts. The sutra is in Sanskrit. The sutra is Yogāṅga, anuṣṭhānād, aśuddhikṣaye, jñānadīptirā, vivekakhyāteḥ. This sutra in English translated as by practicing the limbs of yoga for the destruction of impurity, there arises the spiritual illumination which develops into the awareness of reality. Let me repeat. By practicing the limbs of yoga for the destruction of impurity, there arises the spiritual illumination which develops into the awareness of reality. Let's understand this sutra. According to Patanjali, the light that we seek is within us. So the search is also going to be an inward search. We have to reach the core, the treasure that is already there. The truth is not external to us. It is us in our absolute purity. We don't have to add anything to our being. Rather, we have to delete something. We are already more than our being. That is the problem. If we really understand this, then the 8 limbs of yoga are going to be very easy to understand. Now let's understand this sutra step by step. Patanjali says, by practicing the limbs of yoga for the destruction of impurity. It is not a creation of purity or divineness. It is a destruction of impurity. This has to be understood. Pure we are, divine we already are. Thinking ourselves to be that which we are not is the impurity. Naturally, everything is pure. But the identification creates the impurity. When we start thinking, I am the body, then we imposing ourselves on the body, and immediately the body reacts and start forcing itself, imposing itself upon us, and the identification happens, impurity happens. So as the sutra says, by practicing the limbs of yoga for the destruction of impurity, the destruction of identity, the destruction of identification, the destruction of the mess that we have got in, the chaos where everything is interfering into each other's nature. Everything is intermingled. Nothing is clear. This is the impurity. Further, the sutra says, with the destruction of impurity arises the spiritual illumination. Once the impurity is destroyed, the identification is destroyed, suddenly there is illumination. It doesn't come from outside. It is our innermost being in its absolute purity, in its innocence. And then everything is clear. There is no perversion of any reality, no imagination, no projections. There is no dust on our eyes. Further, the sutra says, with the destruction of impurity arises the spiritual illumination, which develops into the awareness of reality. Then we become a passive onlooker, a sakshin, a witness, who see things as they are. Then our eyes are vacant and our being silent. This is the purity of being. This needs to be remembered. The 8 limbs of yoga are all about the destruction of impurity that is covering the light which we are. This is going to be the base foundation of successful practice of 8 limbs of yoga. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions related to this sutra, please write in the comments below. Namaste.